the city everyone tells you to move to for a six-figure job. It might leave you poorer than a city paying half as much. Today I'm ranking the 10 cities where your salary actually stretches the furthest in 2026. And the city of one is not the one you're thinking of right now. Here's the problem nobody explains to you before you pack your bags for San Francisco or New York. A $140,000 salary in one city can leave you with less spending power than a $75,000 salary in another. Today, I'm not just giving you a list, I'm giving you the actual math. Job market strength, cost of living versus salary, tax burden, and quality of life. Stick around, because number one shocked even me when I ran the numbers, and I promise you it is not Austin. If you're a working professional thinking about relocating in 2026, this channel breaks down where your career and your paycheck actually go further, no fluff. I already covered the best countries and the best US states. Links in the description if you want the full picture. Today we zoom into cities specifically, because two people in the same state can have completely different outcomes depending on the metro they land in. For criteria, weighted equally: job market strength, cost of living versus salary, state and local tax burden, and quality of life, commute, healthcare access, safety, culture. Let's start the countdown. Number 10, Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, the Research Triangle. This metro has quietly become one of the strongest biotech and tech hubs in the country, anchored by Duke, UNC, and NC State, feeding a constant pipeline of talent into companies like IBM, Cisco, and a growing biotech corridor. Average tech salary sits comfortably above $95,000, but here's the kicker: median home prices are nearly 40% lower than Austin's. North Carolina's flat income tax also means less of your paycheck disappears before you even see it. The trade-off? It's not a nightlife city. If you're used to a fast urban pulse, Raleigh will feel like a Tuesday afternoon most nights. Comment bait. If you've lived in Raleigh, drop a comment. Is the pace too slow, or is that exactly the point? Number 9 might make some of you close the tab already. Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. Yes, the winters are brutal. But hear me out. This metro hosts more Fortune 500 headquarters per capita than almost anywhere in the country. Target, United Health, General Mills, 3M, which means dense, high-paying corporate job stacks in finance, healthcare admin, and marketing. Unemployment here consistently runs below the national average, and the public transit and healthcare systems are ranked among the best in the US. The real unlock is this: salaries here rival coastal cities, but the cost of living sits closer to the middle of the pack. If you can handle 5 months of cold, your bank account will thank you. Number 8, Columbus, Ohio, and this one is the most underrated city on this entire list. Intel's $20 billion chip manufacturing investment just outside Columbus has triggered a hiring wave across engineering, logistics, and supply chain roles that's still accelerating into 2026. Add in a strong insurance and finance sector anchored by Nationwide, and you've got real job diversity, not a one-industry town. Here's the number that matters. Cost of living is roughly 12% below the national average, while average salaries in tech and engineering roles are climbing towards 6 figures. That gap, that's where your quality of life actually comes from. Comment bait. Would you move somewhere for a job boom before the city catches up in culture and amenities? Or is that too risky? Let me know below. Before we get to the top 7, I need you to understand something that changes how you should read this entire list. A high salary number means nothing in isolation. I'm about to show you a city later in this list where the average salary is actually lower than 3 cities we already covered, and it still ranks higher. Why? Because of one tax law most relocation videos completely ignore. Keep watching, because it directly affects your take-home pay by thousands of dollars a year. Number 7, Denver, Colorado. Denver's tech and aerospace sector has expanded aggressively, with companies like Lockheed Martin, Palantir, and a wave of fintech startups setting up shop. The job market is genuinely diverse. Healthcare, energy, tech, outdoor recreation industries all stacked together. But Denver is a warning case too. Home prices have climbed hard over the last 5 years, and a flat state income tax doesn't fully offset that. This is a city where your quality of life is exceptional. Mountains, air quality, work-life balance, but your cost of living math needs to be precise, or you'll feel squeezed fast. Number 6. Nashville, Tennessee. And this is where the tax law I mentioned earlier comes into play. Tennessee has zero state income tax. Zero. Combine that with a booming healthcare management industry. Nashville is basically the HQ city for hospital corporations in America, plus a growing tech and finance scene, and you get a city where your paycheck simply goes further before you even factor in rent. Average salaries here are actually lower than Denver's. But once you run the after-tax, after-rent math, professionals in Nashville frequently outsave professionals in cities paying $15,000 more a year. Did you know your state income tax could be costing you more than your rent difference between cities? Comment, tax, if this changed how you're thinking about relocating. Number 5. Seattle, Washington. Seattle earns its spot through sheer job market density. Amazon, Microsoft, a deep bench of biotech and cloud computing companies. Salaries here are among the highest on this list, often north of $130,000 for mid-level tech roles. And like Nashville, Washington State has zero income tax. The catch is cost of living. Seattle's housing market is genuinely brutal, and it will eat a big chunk of that salary advantage. This city rewards professionals who negotiate hard and avoid overspending on housing the moment they arrive. Number 4. Salt Lake City, Utah. The most overlooked city on this entire list, and I mean that. Salt Lake has become a genuine tech corridor, nicknamed Silicon Slopes, with companies like Adobe, Qualtrics, and a dense startup ecosystem driving strong tech and finance salaries. Unemployment is consistently among the lowest in the country. Cost of living is moderate, commutes are short, and access to outdoor recreation rivals Denver without Denver's price tag. If you're a working professional who wants job growth without coastal city chaos, this city deserves way more attention than it gets. Number 3. Boston, Massachusetts. Boston makes this list purely on job market power, biotech, healthcare research, finance, and a university-fed talent pipeline that keeps innovation industries hiring aggressively. If you're in pharma, healthcare research, or fintech, this is one of the strongest job markets in the entire country. But let's be honest about the trade-off. Massachusetts has a meaningful state income tax, and Boston's cost of living is among the highest on this list. This city ranks 3 despite the cost, not because it's cheap. It's here because the career ceiling is that high. Would you trade a lower quality of life score for a genuinely career-defining job market? Or is that a mistake professionals make too often? Tell me in the comments. Number 2, and yes, it's Austin, Texas. The city everyone assumes is one. Austin earns this spot legitimately. Zero state income tax, a genuinely massive tech presence with Tesla, Oracle, and a dense startup scene, plus a culture and food scene that's hard to match. Job growth here has been relentless for the better part of a decade. But here's why it's not one, and this is the part most best cities videos completely gloss over. Austin's cost of living, especially housing, has risen so fast that it's eaten a huge chunk of its tax advantage. Professionals moving here in 2026 are getting a noticeably worse deal than professionals who moved 5 years ago. Great city, just not the best deal anymore. So if it's not Austin, you're probably guessing Denver, or maybe even Nashville again. Nope, The one city on this list doesn't show up on almost any best cities ranking online, and once you see the numbers, you'll understand exactly why that's a mistake everyone else is making. Number 1. Huntsville, Alabama. I know. Nobody expected that. But look at the numbers. Huntsville is home to NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, the U.S. Army's Redstone Arsenal, and a dense cluster of aerospace and defense contractors. Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Blue Origin all have major operations here. This is one of the highest concentrations of engineers per capita in the entire United States, and salaries in aerospace, defense, and engineering roles are genuinely competitive with coastal tech hubs. Now combine that with this. Alabama's cost of living is one of the lowest in the country. A salary that would barely cover a one-bedroom apartment in Seattle buys a full house with a yard in Huntsville. Add reasonable state taxes, low crime relative to city size, and a job market that's expanding, not stagnant, and you get the best salary to cost of living ratio of any city on this entire list. This is the city that wins when you stop chasing the biggest number on your offer letter and start calculating what you actually keep. Be honest, had Huntsville even crossed your mind before this video? Comment your gut reaction below. Here's the pattern if you take one thing from this video. The cities dominating relocation searches, Austin, Seattle, Denver, aren't wrong picks. But they're expensive picks. The real wins in 2026 are in cities that have the job market fundamentals without the price tag everyone's already noticed. That gap won't stay open forever. As more professionals catch on, prices in these cities will climb too. Which is exactly why this list looks different than it will in 2 years. If this saved you from making a $10,000 a year mistake, that's genuinely what this channel is for. I break down the real math behind relocation decisions, not the Instagram version, the actual numbers, every week. Subscribe if you want the next one, because next up, I'm covering the 10 worst cities for working professionals in America right now. Cities where the salary looks great on paper and quietly falls apart the moment you run the real numbers. That one's going to make some people uncomfortable. Drop a comment with the city you're currently considering, and I'll tell you honestly if the math holds up. See you in the next one.